Are you looking for ways to help your team be more creative, be more innovative? I've got some ideas to share with you. Hi, I'm Shawn Casemore. Thanks again for joining me on another one of my Empowerment Series videos, helping you to improve the performance of your team. You know, I've spent about a decade now working with a variety of teams, from executive teams to frontline teams in large Fortune 500 companies, right down to smaller mom and pop sized businesses. And I found that when you want a team to be creative, you need to do a few things to make that happen. There's something pushing back, though, against creativity, which is why a lot of leaders find out or believe that their team is not that creative. You see, most of us, think about it, as human beings, we go through school. Are we taught to be creative? Not so much. We're taught to do assignments, to come up with answers, to memorize things, at least that's the way I got through much of schooling, and to get the right answers. The idea of being creative made me only come up in an arts class or an English class, which often is about less than 10% of the curriculum. Then we go into a working environment which is highly proceduralized and highly structured so that we don't make mistakes. And we're taught even in our personal lives to conform, to do things that other people do, to not be too out there. Now, I'm suggesting that's for the majority of people, not everybody. But here's the point I'd like to make. If the majority of people, many people, have not been taught to be creative and you want a creative team, you're going to have to teach them to be creative. Good news is, this isn't rocket science. It doesn't take too much work because we've all had some exposure to being creative. So here's some things you consider with your team to help them be more creative, and specifically to help them start to resolve some of the challenges that maybe you're trying to deal with or help the team through. First off, consider this. Let's say you want to improve your customer service. You want to improve your customer response time. You want to improve the speed of production in the production environment. Some things you can try are the following. First off, get that team together and prompt them with questions. Don't give answers. Don't share your own ideas. Wait till the end. Ask them questions. What should we do in this situation? What should we do in that situation? This shouldn't be one-on-one. It should be in a group. And your role as a leader is simply to write down notes and ask more questions. Once you've got those questions, let them be. Let them sit. Keep them posted. Make sure they're neat. Keep them posted somewhere for about a week. Then revisit it again with the team. Hey, here was our ideas a week ago. You've had a week to give this some thought. Do you have any further ideas? You'll have to do some warm-up exercises to get them into this. You can't do a cold turkey. But once they get into the frame of mind and they've had some time to look at those ideas, they will have some further tweaks and improvements. Now, you're going to have a couple people that push back and say, you know what, this is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. Ignore them. Focus on those 65 to 75% of people that have further ideas, that have better ideas. Once you get those further ideas, once you've had a week or a period of time of some sort and vetted those ideas and people have had a chance to digest them, the next question is, which of these ideas do we think are the priority that'll get us to our destination as quickly as possible? And then what are the specific steps we think we need to take to get there? You've probably heard this before. Start with the end goal in mind and work backwards. So here's an example for you. I had a client of mine that was looking for ways in which they could improve the visualization, if you will, of production. So they had a production environment where people were working on things, working on little products that they were creating, and it was kind of moving along almost like an assembly line idea, but it wasn't in an assembly line environment, but that's the concept. And what was happening is it was very hard to determine where things were at any one time because people had different piles in their desks and it was very unorganized. So I wanted to brainstorm with the team themselves. What ideas did they have to try and make things more visual, to try and make it easier so that other people knew what was going on. So if a salesperson wanted to come into the room to find out where something was at, they didn't have to wander around, dig through piles of components and products. They could actually come up with an answer pretty quickly. So the team started to tell me, well, Shawn, we need to make things more visual. We need to organize. We need to make sure that there's very few things coming through at one time rather than a glut. We need to make sure people can't just walk into the room and drop things. So I said, okay, these are great ideas, right? Creative ideas. How do we make these happen? Let's take one idea. People coming in the room dropping stuff off. How do we fix that? And they said, well, let's give them, Shawn, a place to drop it off. And let's make sure they label it. And let's make sure that label is color-coded so anybody can tell at any one time when something was dropped off, what day it was dropped off. You see, these ideas were not my ideas. They were the ideas of the people themselves. Someone once said that the best ideas to improve the performance of a job or to improve productivity often come from the people doing the job itself. And hence, when we come back to creating solutions, oftentimes it's just about getting that team to be a little more creative. a little more innovative. And I've found through decades of working with people that every employee has at least 5 solid ideas on how their own job, their own role could be improved, could be more efficient, more effective. Problem is nobody's asking them for those ideas, right? The leaders responsible for the teams, when they do get those ideas initially, they often vet them. They say, well, is that important right now? Here's an example, right? Shawn, I'm Shawn, I go to my boss, I say, you know what, I think if I could get a different desk layout and I could get Bob to work closer to me, I think we could reduce the backlog of our paperwork flowing between one another. My boss says, well, is that a priority right now? Do we have the money for that? Is there budget for that? Is that really going to work? Are other people going to need to do that? How much is that going to cost? And then they make a determination, do we do it or not? If you want people to be creative, step one is put them in an environment where they can be creative. Right? That team environment, get them brainstorming together. The leader needs to facilitate the brainstorming, not participate. Step two, once you facilitate and you've got these ideas, give them some time to sit. You want them to further these ideas forward. Once you've had that second go round and improved on the ideas, what are the actions to get you there? I'm not talking about the minute actions, but the big chunks that you need to make happen to get there. The final most important step then is give people time to take action. Schedule time for the team to sit down and put these actions into place. Don't just add it to their current plate, because it's very difficult to be working on one thing and all of a sudden be over here and be creative. You have to separate the two. The mind is split in two. So we can't expect it to do two things at once. Our mind tends to jump from one side to the other, the logical side versus the creative side. So you need to separate those exercises out. So I'd suggest you try these with your team this week, and feel free to email me. Let me know how it went, and if you'd like some further ideas, ask on. At any time, you can reach me at Shawn@casemoreandco.com. Thanks a lot for watching. I look forward to speaking with you again on our next video in our empowerment series. And remember, your success in business, whether it be in a small team environment or in a large organization, really relies on the success of your team. And that, my friends, is your responsibility. Have a great week.